voices in your memory banks.
I don't know. It's a weird, like, for example, you guys remember Beast Wars, the Transformers
Yes,
thing.
that was one of
So
my favorite when
so
they came out.
this guy, like, when I remember getting the audition, man, it was must have been back in what,
6,
90.
96.
So
Well, it came out
it would have,
96.
yeah, so it would have been 94 that we were reading for this stuff, right? And I guess I got the yes button. I got it handy. But I remember going in. I had no idea about the original G1 series, right? And I had a stack of papers, and it's like it's like what do you call it? They call it, the Bible, where it's like all the characters, the relationship to each other.
Yeah.
Drawings. They have like a description, what they might sound like, and I'm looking. I have no. I'm looking at all this stuff. And this is going to be fun. Transformers, cool. I think I remember hearing about that. And I'm going through that. I'm leafing through, and I go, well, there's the bad guy. I'm going to go for him, and there's the good guy. I'll go for him. And then there's a couple ancillary characters I was going to read for. But I remember Megatron kind of. I looked at it, and it was kind of very Shakespearean to me, and the way it was written, sort of. And thank God I paid attention a little bit in English, because I'm like, other than that, and I thought, well, who are the English Shakespearean types that I think of? I think, okay, Anthony Hopkins he's one of it, and then there's Sean Connery and James Bond, and I think, well, what if I kind of, mess around and come up with this, yes, excellent, to be or not to be, that is the question. Will
Holy
you
shit.
bravely mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune? Herein lies the
Dang.
rub. I mean, it's this whole, like, it's so I kind of went with that. I put a bit of a lisp in it because he's a obviously a dinosaur. So yes, there's a thing. And so I kind of created this voice, and they liked it, and they called me back for both Optimus and Megatron. And I got to the callback when there's nobody else in the room, and I went, "Oh, this is kind of cool. I'm the only one in the waiting room." And they read me for Optimus first, and I can't remember what I did for him. And then I remember Megatron, and I remember behind the glass, they're all kind of nodding their head. They're all like meerkats, like that. And so that's what they bought, because literally, to be honest with you guys, I went in, I had no idea what I was going to do. I like, some people, you may talk to actors, and they're like, oh, well, I scripted the page, and I wrote some stuff, and I thought of it, and I watched the movie. I had nothing. I had literally nothing.
But do you understand how legendary those characters was in your role? Like for us,
Absolutely.
when
Yeah.
Beast Wars came out for me as a kid, it was Reboot and Beast
Yeah.
Wars. It was his
Yeah, that's
first
right. Reboot.
digital cartoon. It was something so new. And I grew up on Transformers, so to
Yeah.
get the voice as one of the legendary guys is Megatron, because remember, like Megatron had the like the raspy voice in the original Transformers. Prime.
Yeah,
I
Frank.
can't
Yeah,
do it that
Frankie.
good.
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah. Yeah.
But we grew up on as like young kids. We grew up on your Megatron watching the Beast Wars. Like,
So that's so cool, because it's like, it makes me, I'm speechless, because we just thought, we went in and did this thing, and we're all joking around and doing voices, and there's other cartoons. We're having this show where, when we used to go in the morning, man, and record this at old Pinewood Studios, which is now it's a tall I haven't been to Vancouver for many years. But it's a condo complex. It's, like everything. There's nothing there now but buildings. And we used to sit in and have coffee, and we used to tell stories and goof around and joke, and then we'd kind of run through the script, and we go in and we record it. And we never really thought about, that's all we sort of thought about. And then it was not till many years later, when I was in TF Animated, is Optimus, and it was Bumper Robinson, and I and Tara Strong, and we were on a panel, and some woman put her hand up and said, so I just want to say, thank you so much for, you guys are great, and her little boy was there. I just wanted, this is my little boy. I can't remember his name. I think it was Carson or something like that, and he's. And she said, "I just want to let you know that my son was in hospital for a long time, and he had some serious. I don't know what, he was fine, but he went through some. I think he went to hell and back. To be honest with you,
mhm.
but she said, I just want to let you know. She started to tear up. Said, he watched the cartoons, and I think it really kept him going, and it kept him positive, and it kept him. I went, oh, it kind of just nailed me. you know. And I went,
Yeah.
and that's when I kind of thought, oh, you know what? Because I used to think all my friends had these really cool jobs, like, you know, architects and doctors and lawyers and teachers and stuff, and they're all great jobs. I thought they were, well, they're doing important work, brain surgery, you know, saving people's lives. But then she said that to me, and I went, okay, that lands, because we do something that does help people. And I've had letters written, and people tell me that, you know, you're the character you played, and then it helps. I think I'm the reason you're the character is because I'm alive today. You know, it's like, whoa. So I don't take it for granted. I never did, but I really don't take it for granted anymore, because it's, as I guess is what we do, is we tell stories, we create characters, and you know, it's the same idea. If I digress just a second here, one of my mentors, Don LaFontaine, who invented "In a World," you know, reason why I do trailers is as a Don, and he invented that phrase "in a world." Because when he was at Paramount, he wrote those words. Because when you go to a movie theater, think about this. When you go, have you guys been in the movie theater recently?
Yes,
Yeah.
I went
Yes.
just a couple days ago.
Man, I miss. It's such a great experience for me. And you go in there, and the lights come down, and there's all of a sudden the scene that, you know, it comes up, and a voice is "In a world many years ago," you know, and it takes you out of the shitty life that you may be having on the outdoors, and takes you into this wonderful other world, and it takes you out of yourself and into this thing, and you don't want to think about, you know, what you want to be immersed in this, you know, and that's what the voice is supposed to do. So it takes you out of, you know, this into something, you know, in this other world that, and it makes us all, you know, feel good. So you know, I realized then that yeah, you know, what we do is important, because it's, and I tell people, that, you know, never take it for granted what you're doing. You know, maybe doing a goofy voice and having fun, but you're making somebody's else, bringing joy to people, and that's all I really think about these days. I